I actually find this whole AI development and the way people are jumping onto the bandwagon being very ad hoc, very short term. And I've never actually been like a great fan of so much over testing such that you don't think about the environment. Thank you for joining us today at AGA Frontiers. We have Lee Gang here with us today from ELGO, and who's also our AI and data co-creation satellite for APAC Global Advisory. My name is Wong Mei Wai from APAC Global Advisory. How are you, Lee Gang?
Feeling great and excited for today's episode. Thanks for inviting me here again.
Yes, I think I'm sure you'll be very excited today because I actually had something that was bothering me, a few points, and I thought it would be good to start a episode to talk about these areas. I actually find this whole AI development and the way people are jumping onto the bandwagon being very ad hoc, very short term. And I've never actually been like a great fan of so much over testing such that you don't think about the environment. Lee Gang, I believe you would be aware of the sustainability concerns and the amount of energy that's consumed in all these testing and trying of little videos and creative and Studio Ghibli, etc. Perhaps you can share with me some of your thoughts. What can we do as individuals? What can an organization do to be able to be more responsible in our usage of AI?
Okay, probably I'll zoom in first on the aspect of the environmental impact of AI, right, or the sustainability aspect of it. So I think that is one area that not enough people have been put a lot of thought and actually discuss about, and especially in the recent kind of developments, especially if you see the US, they have put in like billions and trillions of dollars going to build new data centers just to cater for the demands of AI, right? So I think a lot of companies, even not just countries, have also backpedaled in their sustainability goals in the pursuit of, let's say, AI, better business growth, right? More shareholders value. So I think this is definitely a concerning path. But however, I see it in a few different lenses, right? So right now, most of the trends of this is driving is the energy, right? So electric requirements of AI. Data centers are being built, like lands are being bought, new power plants are being built, data centers are being built, a lot are invested in. But a lot of this right now is driven on the narrative of a lot of sovereign AI, where countries should own their own AI, and also in a lot of, especially in the US China AI arms war right now. Right,
Yes.
that's the narrative that actually is driving a lot of this demand. The actual demand we are seeing it actually probably not that high. So I would see that there is definitely some sort of a hype there. So eventually this bubble will burst, right? And I think then the demand, the actual usage of the electric and everything on AI will actually drop. Right, you self-corrected. Probably will still stay high, but that's not enough to say justify that say AI, yeah, then there's no problem, right? AI is still using a lot of energy. So I think one thing that organizations or countries or even like governing bodies should look at this is just incorporate the use of AI, like how they are evaluating every part of the business in terms of their sustainability goals, right? Electric usage, getting data centers, this also use, right? They have still apply carbon tax, right? All of it, and they should just monitor all these like any others, like how I'm going to ship my cargoes using a sea freight or air freight, right?
Yes.
Within the same framework. So I think that is one way that companies should be governed, right? Using the same rules. There's no special privilege lane just for AI use. And one good note, on a positive note, right, what we've seen in terms of the future development, and even right now we have seen models getting more capable and also getting smaller, right? What that means is energy usage for a lot of these AI models will become more and more efficient, right? So while that doesn't mean that overall the net energy usage will be low, right? It might still be high because more people will use it, but eventually it will not be as impactful as it would if as compared to today.
That's a relief to hear. Yes, so the other area that I'm particularly concerned about is also I see quite a bit of distraction coming from AI. And this distraction on AI is interesting because AI is supposed to make things productive, efficient, etc. But in some cases, some companies are so distracted by AI, they are also not looking out and continuing to take care, continue to increase their digitalization. Do you see that happening, Li Gang, and how do we deal with this?
I think that definitely is happening to a certain degree. For example, I also know a founder friend who has been doing a traditional kind of software system
Yes.
business. And then recently through AI, right, especially through the improvements of the video generation, suddenly he thought that's quite interesting and jump on bandwagon. And then he tried to roll out services from that aspect. But it
Oh,
didn't eventually work out, right? He has
yeah,
to
that's
pivot
right.
back to his core business. And some form in larger organizations, we also seen that where companies actually ask teams, like especially teams, let's say the previous AI teams, working on other aspect of AI in the business, pull them out to work on a lot of things like
Yes,
Gen AI,
exactly.
which kind of disrupts and is very disruptive to their current work. So, however, good thing is this trend has been slowly reducing, right? Companies are slowly realizing that, oh, that's probably not the right way, and slowly shifting back. So one good tip here is probably for organizations, if you look at it, is always when in doubt, AI is just another tool, just another technology like others. At the end of the day, whether it helps, it aligns with the overall business objective. So if you are able to set the alignment, then it's just the rest is just about allocation, right? Who will be doing what and how will be doing it, what technologies, what tools should we roll in. So I think as long as you anchor that, that should be not a problem.
Yes, yes. So I suppose it's very much just remembering your bigger objective, your business intentions, and not getting too distracted by a tool, right?
Yes. Yeah, on
Yeah.
the individual perspective as well. So we have also seen people using AI more and more. And I think this is one area of another concerning impact that I see, right? So it's about the use of AI, how it impacts actually individuals' thinking and learning capabilities. While AI has been helpful in actually speed up a lot of learning, many people, especially students nowadays, actually over rely, right, on AI in doing their assignments, and that actually they kind of outsource their thinking to the AI, and sooner or later, right, so their thinking capabilities actually deteriorate.
Yes.
And I've been interviewing more than 150 people for the past few months, and I do see a concerning trend on this, right? And this is also widely reported across other studies as well. So I think that's one thing that is impacting. And also, like, AI also should not be used in a lot of areas, right? Where like early adoptions, especially just for some in in earlier episodes you mentioned about hiring, right? Using AI to help hiring and making decisions, that's probably not the best way. You still need a human in the loop. In
Yes.
marketing as well, now people are auto generating, they call it AI slot, and putting across all the channels, right? Giving a lot of noise and unnecessary and not useful information out there, making it harder for really true content and valuable content to be found. Then there's a lot of other aspects as well. But one thing is this also kind of drive the gap in people that actually knows how to use AI well, misuse or don't really use AI, right? This gap is actually widening. And one of these subgroups that a lot of talks people are talking about is people in terms of the age group, right? Older people, right, are actually less, they use AI less or don't use it or don't trust it at all. Where the really younger generations are actually using it a lot in their daily lives. So I'm very curious. So in the company's leadership, right, especially when they're looking at leadership transitions, the old leadership team, right? So usually these are people that's very senior, and also then the younger generations of leaders. Do you see actually AI widening the gap here or not?
Very interesting question, Li Gang. It's also another point that we have been pondering about and discussing, and we call them old guards and the new guards. Okay, what we have been seeing is some family businesses actually the old guard say, oh, regarding AI and sustainability, I'm going to leave it to the next generation. I'm going to leave them to look at it separately. But in fact, what we see is the need for it to all be integrated together, because like what you were talking about, sustainability is a more long-term approach, right, in considering that. And if you ask me, frankly, I would say that it is not AI that alone is driving the divide between the older generation or old guards to the newer generation or new guards, right? And fundamentally, what we like to share is that there has been a lot of cases of not wanting to let go, meaning that legacy leaders have been extremely successful in their businesses, and due to their own belief, or what we tend to term it as ego, okay, they believe that there's no one that can fill their shoes. So what actually happens is succession is delayed or truncated because they feel they can't find another successor, right? And because of this, fundamentally, they also tend to have the same profiles that do not want to learn or experiment with new areas which they believe they can farm out to the next generation. Now, that's not very encouraging, because then there are other interpersonal things that they have with the younger generation coming in, and they don't have commonality in discussion as well, or understanding of the way the new generation have been using AI or embracing AI. The interesting thing is that it's not just AI, but actually what you'll find is the lack of capability in a lot of other new areas as well, whether it's system, other areas of IT, etc., even in brand management. There's that gap due to, if you always hang on to old mental maps, the world is changing, there's always something new to learn, right? So I can't really say AI is driving that divide, but certainly what I really believe in is that these old guards, or the leaders of companies that have been already successful, I think sometimes they can also change their mindset and think about it from the perspective as they should not look at these as topics that can be farmed out to subcommittees, but has to be integrated into the core business model adjustments of their business, and be willing to have that discussion and development through innovation.
Yeah. I think that's a very interesting thing. I'm quite surprised that AI is not like playing a large part. But speaking of it, it also makes sense because AI is just one small part of everything, and AI right now has been taken really out of proportion,
Correct.
right, in a lot of the discussions and topics. But what I really like is that kind of that having that more of a long-term view than
Yes.
having on a short-term view, actually across all the different aspects that applies to earlier when I talk about sustainability. Is also you need to take a longer term view. The impact of AI in our individuals or also in the workforce, right? Also, you have to take a longer term view. Yeah, that's really important.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much, Li Gang, for joining me here today, because I think this episode particularly focused on areas that bothered me. And, with that more long term awareness, we hope that our viewers will also use AI responsibly when they want to start having creative bursts to create things. Think about also what's wastage, what's ad hoc, what you can do with AI that really contributes back to society. Thank you, Li Gang, for joining me here today. And thank you for watching AGA Frontiers. Do join me on the next episode of AGA Frontiers.